Hans Flick. Luck stood against Barcelona in the match against Real Betis. Liverpool are considering signing Araujo from Barcelona to replace Virgil van Dijk. Araujo after Barcelona's draw with Betis. It's better not to lose. Niko Kovac comments. Borussia Dortmund manager ahead of facing Barcelona. And before we begin, don't forget to share your opinion in the comments about Barcelona's performance yesterday and your predictions for the Dortmund clash. And if you're a Barcelona fan, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit like, and follow our page. Hans Flick. Luck stood against Barcelona in the match against Real Betis. Hans Flick, Barcelona's head coach, expressed his satisfaction with the performance his team delivered against Real Betis, despite settling for a draw. He confirmed that the team lacked luck on more than one occasion, but he believes the second half was ideal in terms of pressing and chances. Barcelona drew 1-1 with Real Betis in the match held at the Montjuic Stadium as part of La Liga's 30th round. Barcelona raised their tally to 67 points, topping the La Liga table, 4 points ahead of second-placed Real Madrid. Hans Flick's statements after Barcelona's draw with Real Betis. Flick said in his post-match comments, "In the second half, we tried everything. We pressed hard and created many chances, but Betis defended well. We lacked a bit of luck, but the result means we earned an extra point, and that's okay." He added, "I'm very pleased with what the players showed, especially in the second half. We made some mistakes in the first half, but we improved significantly after the break. Betis had only one real chance, while we created several." Flick spoke about the tight fixture schedule, pointing out that the team played 4 matches in just 10 days, achieving 3 wins and 1 draw. He continued, "That's a very good record. I don't think it's the right time for disappointment. We should be positive, because the team is clearly developing." The German coach stressed that he's proud of his players' reaction, saying, "I told them after the match that we now have 1 more point, even if we didn't take our chances. But we must accept that. What matters to me is that the team fought until the very last moment." Flick praised the fans' support, saying, "The fans supported us strongly. I felt they were with us the whole time. The players know they're giving everything, and that gives them positive energy." When asked about Gavi pointing at him after scoring the goal, Flick said, "That means a lot to me. What we've built here is exceptional, not just with the players, but even within the staff. We feel like one big family, and that gives us great strength to keep going forward." As for Rafinha shouting after the match, Flick jokingly said, "He was shouting at me, not the referees." Flick concluded his remarks by emphasizing the importance of focus in the next phase, pointing out that preparations will begin immediately for the clash against Borussia Dortmund. Liverpool are considering signing Araujo from Barcelona to replace Virgil van Dijk. Ronald Araujo from Barcelona is being viewed as a potential replacement for Virgil van Dijk if the Liverpool star doesn't renew his contract. What happened? According to a report by Relevo, Liverpool are thinking about signing Araujo, the Barcelona defender, despite him signing a new contract in January that runs until 2031. This comes at a time when Van Dijk is approaching the final months of his deal with the Reds. The report stated that Araujo's contract includes a release clause valid until 15 July. Multiple sources indicate that he could leave for €65 million, or £55.3 million, or €75 million, or £63.8 million. But after that date, the clause increases to astronomical figures. As for Van Dijk, time is running out for him to extend his contract. Otherwise, he will become a free agent next summer. Did you know? The report adds that while Araujo has this relatively low release clause, the Uruguayan is still expected to play for the Catalan side next season. What's next? Beyond the transfer rumors, the 26-year-old featured for Barcelona against Real Betis in La Liga on Saturday, even wearing the captain's armband while Rafinha started on the bench. Araujo after Barcelona's draw with Betis. It's better not to lose. Barcelona first-team defender Ronald Araujo expressed his disappointment following the 1-1 draw with Real Betis in La Liga's 30th round. Barcelona failed to maintain their lead against Real Betis in yesterday's match at Montjuic and missed the opportunity to take advantage of Real Madrid's loss to Valencia to open a 6-point gap. Speaking after the match to Spanish network Movistar, Araujo said, It was a frustrating feeling. We wanted the 3 points at home, but overall we're still collecting points, and that's the most important thing. Now we must keep working because the gap is only 4 points with the second-place team. He added, "We have our own way of looking at La Liga. The most important thing is to focus game by game. We usually don't look at our rivals. We focus on ourselves. Our aim was to win, but when you can't win, it's better not to lose." Niko Kovac's comments, Borussia Dortmund coach, ahead of the clash with Barcelona. Niko Kovac stood before the journalists after his team, Borussia Dortmund, secured a resounding 4-0 victory over Freiburg. A result that inspires confidence, but one that does not hide the truth. For what lies ahead is something else entirely. He sighed, looked off into the distance as if his mind were immersed in details only he could see, then spoke in a voice not without gravitas. "Yes, we won today. We played with a collective spirit, defended as one unit, attacked with clear harmony, and the victory was well-deserved. But the truth we cannot escape is that what awaits us next week in the Champions League is a different kind of test, a completely different level of challenge. We're heading to Catalonia, to the Montjuic Stadium, where Barcelona stands, with all its history, with all its might, with all its brilliance." He paused for a moment, smiled nervously, then added, There are no excuses. You can't make mistakes, you can't be nervous, and you certainly can't hope they slip. Because Barcelona, this season, does not slip. They're like a machine designed with astonishing engineering precision, but operating with poetic soul. A rare combination that doesn't come around often. High craftsmanship and footballing imagination at the same time. Then, in a firmer tone, as if addressing his players through the media, he said, "Barcelona today isn't just one of the strongest teams in Europe. In my view, they are the most balanced and complete team. They have players who know exactly what they're doing every second, moving as if there's a secret language between them. They don't just play football, they speak it and write poetry with it." Kovac's tone then shifted from respectful to pure admiration when he began speaking about Lamine Yamal. Then comes that boy. Lamine Yamal. No, I can't even say his name without feeling stunned. We're talking about a player born in 2007, and yet here he is in the Champions League, facing the toughest defenders, dribbling past them like he's in a neighborhood street game, and finishing with the composure we don't even see in players with 10 years of experience. What this kid is doing defies description. It defies logic. There are talents, there are exceptions, and then there is Lamine Yamal. That's a whole different level. He paused briefly, as if allowing time to absorb what had been said, then added, gesturing with his hand, "But Barcelona doesn't stand on one player, nor on one star. It stands on an entire generation. A rising generation knocking on the doors of glory early. Gavi, currently injured, but a leader in spirit before he is on the pitch. Pedri, one of the smartest midfielders of this generation. Fati, Fermin, Balde. Even those who don't make the headlines carry within them a huge spark for the future. Every one of them is like a project for a future legend." Then firmly, he declared, "We're not fooling ourselves. We're not going there with rosy dreams. We know the magnitude of the task, and we understand the weight of the opponent. Barcelona this season is a genuine contender for all trophies. I'm not saying this is flattery. It's a reality we all live. We saw how they turned the table on Paris, how they tactically outclassed Napoli, and how they wore out their opponents in La Liga. They're not just competitors, they're a complete artistic phenomenon." Then, with a touch of caution mixed with determination, he added, "But we are Borussia Dortmund. We play with honor, we fight with passion, and we know we're not the favorites. But we've never been the team to be underestimated. We have our tools, we have our spirit, and we have our fans shouting behind us until the last moment. We know we're entering a tactical, technical, and psychological battle, and we are ready for it." He then spoke about his team. "I'm pleased with what we showed against Freiburg, happy that Guirassy scored after returning from injury, and even more pleased that Jamie Bino Gittins also found the net. When the strikers score, when the entire team is in sync, then you feel something is moving. Something internal, maybe invisible, but it's felt. And that's what we need against Barcelona. Faith, spirit, and intelligence." In conclusion, he raised his voice slightly as if delivering a final address before the battle. I don't know what will happen at Camp Nou or in the second leg, but I know one thing. We will not be defeated before we play. We will fight. We will give every drop of sweat. And we will write an honorable chapter no matter the result. Football is not only for those who win, but for those who do not break. And Barcelona? They may be the most beautiful, the strongest, the greatest. But sometimes one moment is enough. One mistake, one touch of genius, or one heroic save to write an unforgettable piece of history. And we will be searching for that moment.